This is like I don't know if would one call it a review, but more or less a musing or a thought, like on the series of Star Versus. It's well agreed among the fandom that the final two seasons of Star versus the Forces of Evil, seasons 3 and 4, were not as good as the first two. Honestly, after Battle for Muni, it just felt a little awkward. I would say the show averages out to good, but seasons 3 and 4 felt weird. Like some think that they lost a writer or something, or that there was supposed to be a fifth season or something. I don't know. But one small thing that definitely hurt it was that they tried to put Star back in Muni and make Muni the main setting. See, the whole point of what made Star versus the Forces of Evil interesting was that it was a fish out of water story. Magical girl in normal world, reaccumulating, blah, blah, blah. And if you put the magical girl into the magic lands, it's not so much a fish out of water story, it's just a fish swimming. Fish swim all the time. And now you're thinking, oh, what about Marco? He's a normal kid. He could accumulate. No, he's not normal anymore. He spent like 15 years in a magical other dimension and now has like crazy martial arts moves and all that. So there's none of that either. He acclimated way too fast. There's barely any scenes of him like dealing with the nonsense. Yeah, like they should have just had Star be in Muni for a little bit. You know, like have her try to be more serious in her princess this role, but then like I don't know, have Moon realize that she's still a child and that she should be allowed to go to school and keep Echo Creek as the main setting. Like Owl House, Amphibia, both of them had characters that went to a magical land that was the main setting for most of it, then go to the normal land for just a little bit before going back to the magical land. That sounds a little weird in Star Versus' case because, you would go back to a mundane world, and granted, it was Darren Nefsey's intention that Muni would be the main setting, but, sometimes the intent of the author works against the story. Sometimes, like, Alphonse and Ferguson, they were not originally supposed to be part of the story. Disney forced them in, and, by season 2, they pretty much wrote them out. But, fans didn't know that, and by that point, fans got used to them in season 1, and were like, hey, where'd they go? And it's like, a lot of fans felt especially insulted it, because Ferguson and Alphonse were just the weird-sounding kid and the fat kid who existed only to be made fun of. And, people felt that kind of insulting, that they just were wiped away from existence. Yeah. So yeah, fish out of water stories are only interesting if the fish is mostly out of the water. You can put them back in the water for a little bit, but they gotta mostly be outside of the water. And also not overpowered, because then you get an isekai.